FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
Yes, sir. It's halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. Happy Tuesday. My name's Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2, joined by Carl Schoening and produced by James Pledger today. Before we get the show started, Pledge, I owe you an apology, man. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you do.
We are like besties typically, but man, you were giving me attitude yesterday, and I realized what it was. I didn't notice that you shaved.
Yeah.
And I think you really, really got offended by that.
I was uberly offended by it, mainly because you were the one who antagonized me to shave in the first place.
I mean, you had a bushy beard. I mean, we're talking about Neanderthal beard.
I had a beard
going on. I mean, it was thick.
I usually don't let it get that big.
But here's the thing. Normally, you and I kind of pal around, and we're because of COVID and whatnot, we're kind of social distancing here at the station.
Oh, so you can't tell that there's not a dead squirrel on my face
Well,
right now?
someone needs to Windex the window between us, okay? Because it's a little foggy. I mean, it's a little hazy back there. But I was on my way home, and I was like, wait a minute. He didn't look the same. He looked younger. And this is it, Pledge. I was talking to you about this before the new year, that you needed, and by the way, you can go on to Facebook Live right now, YouTube Live, San Antonio Sports Star. James Pledger is looking good right now. He's got suspenders on, a dress shirt, a tie, very trimmed beard going on. Dude, why would you grow a bushy beard and look 50 years old when you can look mid-30s right now with a very shaved face? Why would you do that?
Why not? I can pull off multiple looks.
I didn't say you weren't pulling it off, but one looks younger than the other, man. Now, Carl is bringing back that look.
Yeah, you know, I don't think he actually shaved. It's a trim. You still have a beard, Pudge.
It's a 5 o'clock shadow.
I went full on just, get every hair I can off of my face. And, this took like 3 weeks to get back. So I had to grow it out. Yeah, this is around 3 weeks. It's not bad. Maybe 2. This is, whenever we had our last show was when I made the mistake shaving.
Wow.
I have complete beard envy. You could give me 2 months and it would not fill out. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll get stubble, but it won't like fully fill out. I just look bad. I mean,
The gray fills out though, right?
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Top of my head, almost all dark, right?
Just
like 99.99%. No, man, I've been accused of that in the past.
So what do you non-bearded people do? Because it's really just laziness between Pudge and I, and then it becomes our look. But
100%.
What do you do? Do you just have something in the shower every day?
Every day I shave.
There you go.
And
Well, that's discipline, I guess.
It just takes 30 seconds, man. I mean, if you don't, I don't get massive 5 o'clock shadow. I don't know. Maybe if I teach myself how to grill or teach myself how to barbecue better than what I can do now, maybe at that point I'd have the ability to grow a beard. But right now, it just doesn't come in. But when my scruff does come in, it is salt and pepper, which is weird because I don't have much of that up top.
Would your wife be mad if we challenged you to growing a beard?
I'd be upset because people would look at me weird. People would look at me like I'm a criminal because I look like a wanted poster when I'm walking around unshaven. I do not look good at all.
Do it for 2 months just so we can see. That's all I ask. And then you can chop it off.
No shave November already passed. Maybe.
Okay, maybe next November. Okay.
But speaking about looking better, it's so funny because I walked in and, we have notes here as to what we're going to talk about for the most part. I mean, we have a lot to talk about sports, pop culture, nostalgia-wise. I mean, this show goes from 12 to 2. Sports, obviously, we're talking about the Spurs. They're going to try to stop a 3-game losing streak. No DeJounte again. No Lonnie Walker. We'll be talking about today's game. Micah Parsons did not play last night, but he may have lost the Defensive Player of the Year. So we're going to talk about the Cowboys and Parsons' chance because, man, TJ Watt yesterday just went off. At 1:30, it's interesting whenever I drop ideas off on Twitter and I ask the question, what is the greatest Keanu Reeves movie? I never in my wildest dreams would have thought over 100 people would respond within 2 hours. But it's good time. So we talk about Keanu Reeves at 1:30, the man, the myth, the legend that is Keanu. But when I walked in, I said, yeah, I kind of joined a cult. And Carl just looks over at me and goes, "What are you in CrossFit?"
I told you it's a thing. Everyone knows. All you had on the rundown was Mike joins a cult.
I've been in that cult before, though. I used to go to CrossFit all the time. It's a fun group if you find a fun group. There are some people that take it way too seriously, though. It's a really good workout, but man, you're not in the CrossFit Open right now. So you just joined the gym?
I just joined, I guess about a week ago or so.
The box, excuse me.
The box.
It's the box, not the
Yes.
gym.
I was in the box yesterday, actually working outside the box because it was 47 degrees.
Nice.
I was still in t-shirt and shorts. I mean, I went there with a little sweater on, and I had to take the hoodie off after a while because, you just can't work out that way, But it was interesting. We were doing split jerks yesterday, and I had never done that movement before.
Yeah, very much.
Split jerk.
But it was fun. It's just
That's
thing.
the one where you start off in the ready position with the bar under your chin, and then you split your legs and you jerk it up to above your head, or is that
above the
head? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't using a lot of weight. It was just 95 pounds.
You got to go light when you're starting out because it's lifting weights fast. You got to be in control, and some people will hurt themselves if they go too heavy too quick.
Okay,
Wait,
so what
was that position again? Explain what's going on.
So you start upright with your elbows out and the barbell like kind of on the balls of your palms, and then you kind of do a little motion, popping your hips and shifting the weight above your head while splitting your legs where it's like 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Yeah. You just wanted to drop that. Okay.
And it's called a split jerk.
Uh-huh.
And we did it all looking at each other. So it was good times. But
I love it.
No, but it's funny, because I talked about this yesterday on the show. Everyone talks about New Year's resolutions, and mine are more New Year's goals. And I want to do 100 classes of something, whether it be Camp Gladiator, whether it be CrossFit. I don't care if it's something at Gold's Gym. Just want to do 100 classes of something because I figure I'll stay in shape that way. But that was class number 2. I've done 3 so far, but that was 2 for the year so far.
Nice. I have a Peloton, and usually I try to fit, even if it's just a 5 to 10 minute bike ride somewhere, even if I'm not like officially logging it under my profile. But man, I did not get it in because I didn't get a nap in yesterday, and I was doing video editing that took way longer than I thought it would last night. So I only ended up getting like 3.5 hours of sleep. So the bike ride will come after a haircut that I have. So it might come after my nap. I don't know if I'll be able to power through today, but bike rides, that'll be the key. And then Peloton has other stuff. So yeah, I'm right there with you on, I'm going to try and get maybe 200 Peloton classes in because I'm on a 3-year lease on that thing. It's not even a lease. It's, I'm paying it off every month for the next 3 years. And I look at it like a gym membership, and, I have a gym membership in my house. So basically,
so the Peloton, it looks easy, but it really isn't, man. I've gotten on there thinking I'm going to take a class. No big deal, but man, it kicked my butt.
15-20 minutes is all you really need. And that's what I got to kind of carve out the time in the morning. But there's something about 4 a.m. that if you don't give it the proper respect, all of a sudden it's 5:07 and you're late.
Yeah.
So that's the funny thing about just trying to squeeze a workout in before work when you get up that early.
We're live on Facebook and YouTube right now. Alex reaches out to us on YouTube, says, talking about the split jerk move, says that's the problem with CrossFit. High technical lifts with little training beforehand leads to injuries. Now, that's the thing. I joined CrossFit about 12 years ago, and I enjoyed it for about 3 months, got hurt. Went back, got hurt. So this time, I think I'm older and wiser as far as, okay, there's certain things I'm not going to do because I know my body a little bit better than I did before. I'm down almost 30 pounds since May. So now I'm just trying to do a little bit more strength training, be a little bit more fit. And I'm a bulky guy, man. But Rudy J's been doing weightlifting. He's been posting photos and whatnot. It kind of inspired me a bit.
And this is going to suck because I think people are kind of a little frustrated about the way that, science works, how new information comes in and changes the way we think about things. But there isn't really too much that you can do to burn calories. Your body's going to burn X amount of calories per day, no matter what, doing almost no matter what. However, exercise taking up those calories is better than, the calories being spent on inflammation. So doing
Yeah.
a second CrossFit workout a day might not actually help you as much as you think it's
Right.
helping. So, it's really all about just getting out there and doing it, no matter what you feel like, you can consistently do. And that's really, like, to your point, I don't think I felt comfortable actually going hard in CrossFit until maybe year 4 of doing it. It takes a little while to get everything down. While riding a bike, it can suck, but
Yeah.
you can do riding a bike almost any time at any pace if you don't take a class.
I just don't want to get old, man. I'm 44 years old. That is not old, but it's not young either. And man, I go on, I see my friends on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, and I think to myself, we're getting older. Anything I can do to stay a little bit young and being in shape is part of that battle.
Mhm.
Dude, I had the funniest conversation with my daughter this morning. We were out having breakfast, and I want to pledge in on this conversation here. She's in town right now from LSU, right? She finished her first semester, which, by the way, I found out today because I called the school. I called LSU on the way over here. My daughter is a second semester junior now. She's 18 years old, and she will be a senior sometime this summer and still be 18 years old. She is just running through it because she got all these AP classes and tested out of this, that, and the other. She's
So when
amazing.
does she go back?
She's supposed to go back the 18th.
Wow.
So it's like a 5 weeks off, right?
Wow.
So all her friends.
It's a different college experience than I remember.
That's around when I started, I want to say. I always felt jealous of my brother when he would go back in mid-January and I would go back like the first week of July as a kid.
Exactly. So we were talking about her friends at Texas State, her friends over at A&M and whatnot, and they're finally getting together this week, her high school friends. And she was like, what are we going to do? What do we plan on doing? And then she asked the question, Dad, what would you do when you were 18, 19 years old and you were on break? And I said, we'd go clubbing. And what I didn't realize is that more and more I'm realizing that clubbing is not a deal anymore. I mean, they exist, but not to the extent that it was when I was growing up. Rudy J and I have had these conversations before on this show where we talked about we could rattle off 30, 40 nightclubs that were around when we were in our early 20s, late teens. And I was telling her, I said, Gabby, I know there's still some around, but man, you got to go check out Bonham Exchange. I mean, the Bonham is still around. If there was a nuclear bomb dropped on San Antonio, that place would still be open the following day.
And it's 18 and up?
Yeah, it's 18 and up.
That's the trick because most clubs are 21 and up. I think if you're trying to, have some good old-fashioned non-alcoholic fun for, those underage, then you're talking about probably a slimmer margin of things. But I kind of went clubbing, if you will, on 6th Street in Austin, the Square in San Marcos when I lived in that area. I do need to find some spots here in San Antonio, but COVID's kind of keeping me away from exploring too much.
Pledge, were you a clubber at 18?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, you were living in the San Antonio area at that time,
Yes.
right? So where would you go when you were 18?
Oh, God, there were a bunch of places. I remember Midnight Rodeo. I remember
You're
Cowboys Dance Hall.
Midnight Rodeo,
Blue Bonnet.
Cowboys. You're going after older chicks at that point, man. That was
Oh, no, I also remember Anthro and
Andro. Was Beto Udrich there?
let's see, Graham Central Station.
Oh, geez, those were around here too.
Oh,
They're up
yeah.
in Austin.
What was the one in Parknworth?
Oh, Park Place.
Park Place. I remember that
Dude,
one.
Park Place, going back in time, Park Place was the club that
There was one down San Pedro too.
it wasn't anyone's favorite, but everyone seemed to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like no one said that was their number one draft pick, but it was the one club because it had 6 different clubs going on. You had the electronic room, you had the disco room, you had karaoke, you had a little bit of everything going on. You had country, you had the top 40, and then the one that played 9 Inch Nails every other song. Closer was being played like every other song. And it was funny because like it wasn't anyone's favorite, but everyone seemed to enjoy themselves there. And it was like it brought everybody together. It was a very sad day when that place closed down.
I still pass one every day on my way to work, right there at Bitters and the entrance to 281 next to the Hooters.
It used to be North Pole back in the day.
It was North Pole. It was like 50 things. It was like 50 different clubs at one time. It was next to the bowling alley. Yeah. And right now it's like a gymnastics school.
Yeah, and now it has like a bowling alley next to it and whatnot. Man, those days don't exist. But man, my daughter Gabby, people would look at me and go, "Why are you encouraging your daughter to go clubbing?" Because it's fun. Because she's of age, and that's what kids and teens used to do back in the day. But apparently, like, lounges are the thing, and apparently it's just not the same thing. But the Bonham, for some reason, is still around. We talk about Joe's Volcano being around forever. The Bonham, I think, has outlasted this entire time. It's still fun. I went there the last time I was at the Bonham.
You still have the St. Mary's clubs.
Yeah, but those kind of shut down, come back, shut down, come back. I was last at the Bonham about 4 years ago. My wife and I went on a pub crawl that ended at the Bonham.
So are you saying we're going to the Bonham soon? Is that what you're telling me?
I'll bring the glow sticks. I'll bring the glow sticks. I'm looking forward to this. We'll bring Carl. Carl?
We'll have to see. I'm a homebody. I'm a homebody these days. I don't really feel like going 60. Out anymore.
Okay, I have it in me with like once a month, and usually it's with pleasure, right? Once a month, I'll go a little bit crazy, but the other 30 days,
a little.
Yeah, I end up on Minix's couch. Welcome to Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star. We're on ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. As always, on the go at sasportstar.com. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Search San Antonio Sports Star. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment or two. You can also call into the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines at 656-ESPN. 1:30, we're going to be talking about the greatest Keanu Reeves movie. I put 4 options out there, and people were saying, no. Those aren't the 4. So if you want to vote on this or leave a comment, you can reach us at Twitter. I'm at MikeESPNSA. Pledger is at I am Pledger, and Carl is at Carl ESPN. That's Carl with a K.
Mm-hmm.
Did someone say Bonham? I am there. That's Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. Rudolph Renee says 800 Live is newer near downtown. Never been to that place. Although, what's that one bar? I don't know. It's like on North St. Mary's. Well, in that area as well. I like that area, man. Blue Star is fun. We went there a few weeks back. It's good times. But, man, you got to give me like a good 72-hour notice so I can hydrate, I can rest, and make sure that I don't have anything to do the next day, okay? Because, again, I'm young enough to want to party, but I'm old enough to know better when it comes to other things going on, man. But speaking of not feeling well enough to go out and party, not feeling well enough to play, DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, and McBuckets. Doug McDermott out tonight against the Raptors.
And just to clarify, DeJounte's cleared COVID protocol, so he's just trying to get back in shape. Lonnie and McDermott obviously just entered right before that Pistons game. So that's obviously 3 major contributors to your team, and the Spurs can't really afford to lose anybody. And it sucks to lose the veterans when you're going into a situation like tonight with Toronto, where they might have 1,000 fans that they allow speckled somewhere in Scotiabank Arena.
Do you think this was the stake to the heart of the season? Because think about this. Before all of this happened, the Spurs had
3-1 on that 4-game road trip that you thought they were going to crash on.
Exactly. 3-1 there. They beat the Lakers. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Jazz. They were also had won like 10 out of 15. We're kind of flirting with the idea of getting back to 500 ball. They had slipped into the 10th spot. And then COVID hit. And now, out of these 3 losses they've had, 2 of them I will forgive simply because, it just is what it is.
Sure, Utah.
No DeJounte. Yeah, no DeJounte. But the game against the Pistons, they should have won. But it's just so weird because you're taking a look at this right now. The Spurs are on a 7-game road trip right now. It's not going to be easy.
No, what is it, 5 and 7 nights? It's
kind
of crazy, actually. You thought that the NBA was trying to get rid of those games.
Yeah, exactly.
Weeks.
Exactly. So we have Toronto, we've got Brooklyn, we've got the Knicks, we've got the Celtics, the Sixers, a lot coming up after this game. And it's just one of those things where we may be looking at this next week, maybe around this time next week, and looking at the season going, yeah, there's no return from this.
It sucks because last year in the 21 games leading up to what eventually was the stoppage of their season because of a COVID outbreak, they were 14-7. And just like you were saying, coming up to this little COVID outbreak, they had seemed to kind of turn a corner and figured things out. But then you lose DeJounte, obviously the motor that makes that first unit go. And then you lose Lonnie, who had really been finding his confidence and finding his stride. McDermott's probably the most consistent player on this team. And yeah, I think that it's one of those situations that this could be that sort of, they were about to get over the hump, and the fact that they never get over the hump, they fall behind the 8 ball and make it much harder to get where they're trying to go. They're a game out of the playoffs, or the play-in spot at 10. They're at the 11 seed at the moment, so they're still flirting with that play-in spot.
But they're also a game and a half away from being a top 5 pick, potentially in the draft as well. So it's weird. They're in this really weird limbo position where they can go up the escalator, go down the escalator, and it's just kind of weird. But I want to see Trey Jones out there some more. And I understand that Primo had an off game against the Pistons. He was getting kind of bullied a little bit. He seems to be a little bit undersized. But I'm excited watching those guys out there. That's why I don't care if they're losing right now. We're seeing Trey Jones out there, what he can do as a starter. We're seeing Joshua Primo out there. There's a lot to see. Jock Landale, he's obviously taken over for Drew Eubanks at the number 2 spot at center. It's fun to watch right now. I'm enjoying this, even though they're losing. And yes, I would typically want the Spurs to win. There's a lot out there that I see that they're learning more because of these COVID issues.
As we get closer to that February deadline for the trade, this is the stretch that kind of determines if the Spurs are going to want to be buyers at the deadline, because obviously some other dominoes need to fall. Probably starts with Simmons, and if the Sixers are still waiting on Damian Lillard, that's a team that's kind of maybe thinking about selling for a potential 25-year-old, 4 years left on his contract star. And we're back to where the same place we were entering the season on the Simmons talk. But Miles Turner could be somebody who can make any team, including the Spurs, much better at that forward spot. And if they can sort of make a little bit of a push and get back into the play-in game and maybe seem to flirt with that 6th spot, they make a trade, I think. And then if they don't, they don't. So, this is the stretch right here. And as much as, you don't want to say get COVID out of the way, hopefully they sort of get it out of the way and they don't get it again. And then they find their rhythm a little bit later on, because you never know what kind of, teams that are COVID ridden that you're going to face off against, but you got to win those games too. If you're going up against a team like the Pistons that had, I think, 8 guys on 10-day hardship contracts.
I like what you said about flirting with the 6th spot, because to me, hell in the NBA is 7, 8, 9, or 10. I either want them not in the playoffs or not in the play-in or in the top 6. I don't want them 7 through 10, because why? What are they going to do? The right to lose the first round of the playoffs and not get a good draft pick? That is what that spot means. Either get to the top 6 somehow or fall out. Those are the 2 best places for the Spurs.
It's possible for them to have the 6th or 7th best lottery chances and still be in a play-in spot.
Yeah, I mean, there's theories around that.
I'd rather them get into at least the 10 spot and then hopefully win 2 games in a row to get into a play-in series or playoff series, because it's a team that has an average NBA experience of 3.5 years. That'd be better than most teams in that situation to have a playoff series under their belt.
Tip-off is at 6 o'clock against the Toronto Raptors. Early tip-off. Let's get some headlines in. Here's players.
Here's the 411 in the 210. Headline 2.
We'll start things off with the Washington football team. They have a new name, but they won't announce it until February 2nd, nearly 19 months after dropping their old one. And a week before the Super Bowl, the football team will be announcing their new name. But President Jason Wright said it won't be one that became an early favorite on social media. During a podcast with Adam Schefter, Shefty asked co-CEO Tanya Snyder to confirm whether it's the list of 8 final candidates that were the Armada, Presidents, Brigade, Red Hawks, Commanders, Red Wolves, Defenders, and football team. She replied, yes, but Wright wrote that the team on the team's website Tuesday that although the Red Wolves and Wolves by association were fan favorites, they would not work because of trademarks held by other teams. So, which is your favorite? I mean, there's really only one answer, right?
Yeah, you said the Red Hawks were one of them, right?
Yes.
I like that one.
I could go with Armada, actually. I feel like that's a little curveball, but sort of, goes out to the troops, which, is a big thing in the just world of the NFL. So I could see Armada being popular.
It's a great name. I mean, that's a fan thing. The Armadas come into the building.
I like that.
I like it, but the red, the colors,
the red tails.
Yeah, something like that. I think is probably what's going to happen.
Well, the story here says something along the lines of the fans are going to have to embrace a new brand. So I could even maybe seeing a color scheme change, more money, because now you got to get into buying new shirts.
You really want to make a fan base mad?
Oh, yeah. Make them mad. Just go right at them.
Piss off HTTR, man. Good Lord.
Headline 1.
Oh, man. Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield confirmed he'll have shoulder surgery after the season. Says discussions will be had on his status for Week 18. Quote, I'm an extremely competitive guy, Mayfield said, following the 26-14 loss to the Steelers yesterday. Now it's time to start looking at what's in the best interest of me and my health. If we're talking about best interest, guys, why is the final week of the season even a discussion?
I think that it comes down to that fifth-year option, and I agree with you. I don't see why it's a discussion, but maybe there's some communication between Mayfield and the front office that they want to see him do one more. I don't see what they could learn from Week 18, though. That's a good question. I don't know why it would be that case.
I mean, we have a lot of tape on Baker Mayfield. And the thing about Baker Mayfield is he is the most average quarterback in the NFL. He is not good. He is not bad. He's not above average. He's not below average. He is the 500 marker when it comes to quarterbacks. And that's that. They know what they have with him.
He's the new Matthew Stafford.
I would say Stafford's kind of better, but I see where you're getting.
No, but remember his time in Detroit, who Matthew Stafford was. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but Matthew Stafford at least had a little bit more accuracy and a stronger arm. Baker is what it is. The problem is that he was the number one pick in the entire NFL draft, and you don't pick a 500 quarterback. You don't pick literally he's almost 500 for his career. You don't pick an average quarterback at that spot. That's why he's been a disappointment. But they need to pick up his year 5 because he's so cheap in year 5.
And who are you going to actually get if you drop Baker Mayfield? Then you're looking for a quarterback yet again.
Exactly.
I don't know, Deshaun, Aaron, Russ, bunch of guys looking for new addresses, I hear.
It's still Cleveland.
Headline 0.
Las Vegas Raiders rookie quarterback Nate Hobbs arrested on DUI charges hours after their win over the Indianapolis Colts. The 22-year-old's arrest comes months after receiver Henry Ruggs was involved in a fiery high-speed crash that claimed the life of a 23-year-old woman and her dog, as Ruggs now faces up to 50 years in prison on felony DUI and reckless driving charges. It also comes 1 day shy of a year from when running back Josh Jacobs was arrested on a DUI charge after a single vehicle collision near the airport in Vegas. According to a news release from the Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, at around 4:09 a.m., the police department received a call referencing a driver asleep inside of a vehicle which was parked on the exit ramp of a parking garage located in the 3500 block of the South Las Vegas Boulevard. Officers arrived, made contact, identified him as Nathan Hobbs, and gave him a field sobriety test, which he failed. He was transported to jail where he was booked on DUI. The Raiders put out a statement saying the organization has been in communication with local law enforcement and is in the process of gathering more information.
That's the problem with having teams in Las Vegas, okay? And I don't want to be the old man saying that. I understand the attraction of wanting to have these teams there, and they should be there. But the problem is that the bars don't close over there, man. And I know you can get drunk and drive and be arrested at 3 or 4 in the morning elsewhere. I get that. It has happened before. But in Vegas, the city literally does not sleep, man. I'm sorry, New York. The city doesn't sleep there because you can go get a drink at any time over there. And because of that, these are young guys, 21, 22 years old. Do you think they're going to be hanging out in the mountains, or are they going to be on the strip? They're going to be on the strip.
And what more can we say? Everybody knows, get an Uber, get a driver, find somebody who will give you a lift back to your apartment, because it's not worth it, and it puts other people in danger to drive while intoxicated. And you can still be drunk the way that, these kids probably go at 21 years old until 8 a.m. So, really just make sure that you are in shape to drive if you do leave and have anything to drink, even if it's almost half a day later.
Is always victimized, but if, let's say, the radio station offered us free access to an Uber whenever we wanted, would you be scared to take it?
No, I'd run that bill up.
Because I know I wouldn't, but the NFL offers free personal drivers to players when they've had too much to drink.
Gotta take it.
I'd take it to and from work every day.
That's the 411 and a 210.
Calling a 515 Uber.
All year long, I've been saying that there's no way in the world Micah Parsons was going to win Defensive Player of the Year, and Pledger all season long saying, nope, it's going to be him. It's going to be him. It's going to be him. And I made the mistake of saying Myles Garrett locked it up a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you did.
I made that mistake, and I'll admit to that.
And I didn't say he was gonna. I say he had a really good chance to win it. Let's not parse my words.
Right, but I think last week, at the end of last week, you were like, nah, dude, he's the favorite. I think is what you called him.
I called him the favorite.
You called him the favorite, right? So weird, because I bought into it. I was like, man, Micah is going to be Defensive Player of the Year. And when he stopped Kyler at the 1 yard line, preventing a touchdown in Sunday's game, I thought that sealed it up right there. And then last night happened, and it looks like Micah Parsons is going to be runner-up. We'll be talking about this when we come back. And also, a football player, a star football player, is putting an asterisk on his own season. A remarkable season. We'll be talking about this. This is Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM, and we're on the go at sasportstar.com.
San Antonio Sports Star Pro Football Pick'em. Online at sasportstar.com. Can you pick the perfect matchups all season long? If so, you could win 50 grand. Weekly winner score gift cards to Pinkerton's Barbecue and the Mellow Mushroom. For official contest rules and to play, visit sasportstar.com. Must be at least 21 years old to play this nationwide contest. One winner will be selected at the end of the season. The Pro Football Challenge from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Tune in to The Blitz today for the ESPN San Antonio Injury Update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Catch up on the latest injuries and how it'll affect your team. The Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Online at TSAOG.com.
Find your next amazing getaway at the South Texas RV Super Sale. Hundreds of RVs, every shape and size. Small pop-up campers to spacious motorhomes, toy haulers, travel trailers, fifth wheels, and more from South Texas' best dealers. RVing will change your life. Fall in love with the unexpected joy of the No Limits RV lifestyle. Check out a free seminar. Never stop looking for your next big adventure. Discover RVing at the South Texas RV Super Sale, Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall, January 6th through the 9th. Doors open at 10 a.m.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?
We're growing fast, and I stopped working weekends thanks to how much smoother everything runs on NetSuite by Oracle.
Fantastic. We're still using QuickBooks.
Why haven't you upgraded to NetSuite?
We're making QuickBooks work, sort of.
Shh, watch your language. The kids are right there. Sorry, Amy. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. And 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since upgrading from QuickBooks to NetSuite.
Yeah, sounds like it's time for me to switch to NetSuite. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/radar. Head to netsuite.com/radar for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/radar.
The Lowe's hometown team came back for a second season, focusing on making homes and hometowns better for all. With the help of their general manager, Drew Brees, and players like Najee Harris and Justin Fields, they tackle community projects in hometowns, while also inviting DIYers to join the Lowe's home team by taking on DIY projects of their own. Select Pros rounded out the 2021 Lowe's home team. Learn more about the Lowe's home team at Lowe's.com/home team.
This financial update with CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is sponsored by Dell Small Business. Don't get impulsive over the new COVID variant.
If you have an unknown situation and you're sitting on gains, a lot of people are thinking, oh, I'll just sell. I don't think that's the greatest idea.
Dell Technologies' New Year event helps you save up to 45%. Transform your workspace on high-performance computers featuring Windows 11 Pro with powerful hardware-based security. Call an advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Small businesses are the backbone of America. Yet when it comes to workers' comp insurance, you rarely get the savings you deserve. That's because insurance companies tend to lump you in with other businesses, and you can get overcharged. At Pi Insurance, we're on a mission to change that. With Pi, you get a quote specific to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. If you like savings, take 3 minutes to see how much you could save at trypi.com. Pi makes workers' comp insurance as easy as pie, with friendly representatives just a call away. No wonder customers rate our service excellent on Trustpilot. You work hard to build your business and keep your employees safe. You deserve more from your workers' comp provider. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's trypie.com.
This is Jerry Jones, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Upload a photo of what's on your grill and enter a description and recipe at sasportstar.com, and you can win a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. Winner chosen every Thursday at 6 on the Blitz. Again, your chance to win a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. Welcome back to Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. We're also live on Facebook and on YouTube. My name's Michael Jimenez. We're going till 2 o'clock. Carl Schoening is my co-host today. You know, it's funny. When it comes to football players or athletes in general, they love records, right? I mean, come on. It's being part of history, making the record books. And it's so funny because in football this year, if we had to redo, or we could redo the fantasy football drafts from the very beginning, if we knew then what we know now, number one would have been Cooper Kupp. So weird. In a PPR league, Cooper Kupp would have been the number one pick.
Definitely. And, you know, I was about to say Jonathan Taylor, but you're probably
one or the
right.
other.
Yeah, it's one of those two that are going to be 1 or 1A. You can't go wrong.
If you had Cooper Kupp on your team, you won some money this year. I don't care who the rest of your team was. Cooper Kupp was the man. And it's so much the man that he has a chance of becoming one of the few players in NFL history to win the triple crown as a wide receiver. That is receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. And the thing is that he's flirting with a couple of records. Here's his stats right now. Cooper Kupp this year for the Rams, 138 receptions, 1,829 yards receiving, and 15 touchdowns. He leads the league in all three. It's possible that he will lead the league in all three at the end of the season after Sunday's game. Amazing. But what's interesting about it is that there's certain records that are possible to beat. You know, Michael Thomas had more receptions, has 11 more than Cooper Kupp. Calvin Johnson had over 130 more yards receiving, and Randy Moss's record for touchdowns is not going to be touched this year. Okay, that's way too far. But it is possible that Cooper could get Michael Thomas's receptions record and Calvin Johnson's yards record. But the thing is that this year there are 17 games compared to 16, and because of that, he's going to put an asterisk on his record.
In all honesty, in my opinion, we're in a very unique season. We're in the longest football season ever played. What the guys did that set those records, you know, Mike Thomas, Randy Moss for the touchdowns, what Calvin Johnson did with yards, what those guys did in 16 games, you know, it wouldn't seem right for those to be broken in 17 games. It just doesn't. It wouldn't hold the same weight to me as it does for guys that have done that in a 16-game season. And when the accomplishments those guys have, the seasons those guys put together, those are incredible things, incredible accomplishments. So you kind of have to separate the two. We're in a new age of football here where we're playing 17 games a year. A lot of the stuff that had happened before that, I think those records hold a different weight, being that they were played in those 16 games.
Very refreshing. He's basically saying, yeah, I have the record. I may get some of these records because, again, he needs 12 more receptions to get the receptions record. He needs 135 yards to have the receiving yards record. Because of that, he's basically saying, look, maybe I'll be the record holder, but not the true record holder. Your thoughts?
It's going to be tough because there's always going to be a clamoring for more games or fewer games, and how do you work that in any sport? So what was it? Babe Ruth had his home run record stolen, and he did it 160 or 154, I think is what you said earlier.
Yeah.
And Roger Maris had like 160 when he broke the home run record. It's almost like there should be a single standing record, but then there should be a modern schedule record. So if if you set it in 16 games and then you break it in 16 games and you still have a game to go, you broke the 16 game record. And now there's a 17 game record that you're setting in this first year. But then there's a 17 game record going from here on out for the records that are broken here in game 17, because you still have to find a way to honor the guys who set those records but didn't have the opportunity to get those extra games in.
It sure does make things different, man, because like you mentioned, the Babe Ruth record. I mean, that was the big deal. I mean, no one wanted Roger Maris to win that. And, the depression that he suffered afterwards because he was criticized for breaking that record. But it's interesting when you added a 17th game, certain things aren't as powerful anymore, such as being a 1,000-yard rusher or a 1,000-yard receiver. Well, I mean, at that point, you're looking at only needing like 55 yards a game. It's really not much to get those numbers. But I enjoyed the fact that Cooper Kupp was okay in basically putting an asterisk on his own thing. It wasn't going to be like it's almost like he ended the debate before the debate even started. But speaking of debates, the debate as to who's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons, who's been amazing for the Dallas Cowboys this year, I would say entering this past Sunday's game was the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie. And a lot of Cowboy fans have been all about that, saying, man, he needs to be looked at. And everyone's saying Myles Garrett early on, Trayvon Diggs, his own teammate, was up there as well, double-digit interceptions. But now it seemed like when the smoke cleared, Micah Parsons was going to be the front runner going into the last 2 weeks. And then last night on Monday Night Football, TJ Watt just put an exclamation point on his season. 4 sacks. He's now up over 20 for the year. And now Vegas has him as not only the odds-on favorite, but the overall overwhelming favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. Your thoughts?
Two things. How are we voting on this? Can we look at what the Cowboys went from last year to what they're doing this year as a team, and who's the best defensive player on the team that is responsible for this turnaround from just an abysmal franchise record to the reason that the Cowboys have 11 wins? This defense went from being one of the worst in the NFL to so far this season 7th in points given up. So in terms of the better side of things, so I think that when you look at it, they're a much more improved defense than the Steelers, who were also terrible last year, but are still in the bottom third of the NFL as a defense. And sure, it's a team sport, and then the individual can stand out by accumulating stats. But in this particular case, I think you got to give the nod to Parsons just because the defense has had that much more of a turnaround, and he's very clearly the heart and soul of why that happened. And then obviously Trayvon Diggs with the interceptions. Being able to force those turnovers, something Dallas couldn't do against the Cardinals, is the reason that this Dallas defense has found a way to turn it around. And Micah Parsons is somebody who is a do-it-all player, except for playing safety, I think. He's safety and corner. He's pretty much done everything that Dallas has asked him to do.
Yeah, Micah Parsons most definitely will be Rookie of the Year. Okay, so
Easy.
He's going to get that prize. Doesn't matter if he even plays on Sunday. He's going to get that award. But when you take a look at it, we were talking about Cooper Kupp having an asterisk for his own records potentially getting this upcoming weekend. TJ Watt's 21.5 sacks is only one below Michael Strahan's record of 22.5 set in 2001. And, so we have that issue going on. TJ Watt gets 1.5 sacks. He's the record holder, but it's one of those things. One's a 17-game season, one's a 16-game season. But when you're up there at 21.5, I'm sorry, but that is your prize, man. Micah Parsons has been phenomenal this year. And they've moved him around like a piece on like the queen on the chessboard. They moved him around all over the place. When Tank Lawrence was hurt, when Randy Gregory was hurt, they were able to utilize Micah Parsons, and he solidified that defense, and that defense is better because of him. What a great pickup. But I'm sorry, he's going to be runner-up this year.
It's a tough one for Parsons to probably take because as a rookie who's played in every single game, he has 20 tackles for loss, which is the same amount as Watt. When you're talking about a tackle assist, he actually has 20 to Watt's 14. In terms of solo tackles, Watt is 45 and Micah Parsons has 64. So, there's other stats other than the sack that I feel like Micah Parsons is pointing at and saying, yeah, I know sacks are the big thing that everybody loves in this pass rush game, but look at all the other numbers I've accumulated and how I've helped turn around this defense. And, he has 13 sacks himself. That's nothing to scoff at for somebody who wasn't a pass rusher in college. So, I kind of wonder where the voters might be thinking. Like I asked, does last year have anything to do with this year in terms of how the defense has turned around? Because if you do that, I think you have to give the nod to Parsons.
That's a weird way of looking at it, though. But I understand where you're going with that. But that's just one of those things where, that means that the starting line's different for everybody else. That's why it's difficult for me to say that would be a thing to look at. But taking a look at the odds right now, TJ Watt, according to sportsbettingdime.com, is minus 400. Which basically means he's a super heavy favorite right now. Micah Parsons at 3.5 to 1 odds. Aaron Donald at 8 to 1. Myles Garrett, Robert Quinn at 20. And Trayvon Diggs in 6 right now at 25 to 1 odds. Hey, last night, speaking of the Steelers, when TJ Watt, Ben Roethlisberger most likely played his last game over there in Pittsburgh.
I hope so. Geez, it was painful to watch this season for Big Ben. He got a few moments out of it, but overall, he looked like he's ready to retire. We're all assuming he's retiring because of that.
Yeah,
eye test.
Obviously, future Hall of Famer. That 2004, draft right there. Just all those guys are now gone. And it's one of those things where he's a legend. He will make the Hall of Fame. He's got the Super Bowl rings and all that stuff. But man, every time I see Ben Roethlisberger, I think of the accusations against him. And if you don't know the accusations, go on Wikipedia, scroll down to personal page, and you will find all the accusations made to him over the years about him. And I have a hard time cheering for him because I know that that's there.
I'm not as brushed up on all of those. I do remember him being in the news for a good chunk of them. I want to say like 2 accusations of sexual assault.
If social media was around back then, to the extent that it is now, and Twitter was as big of a thing then as it is now, he would have been Deshaun Watson back then. Sorry about that, Pledge. I know I used Deshaun Watson as an adjective.
No, it's fine. I fully believe that a team is going to, because of quarterback, just because of the importance of the position.
I get
make a trade and give you the moon. The Texans being you.
I don't know if they're going to get the moon, but they're going to get the sky.
Interesting. Hey, when we come back, let's talk about some movies here, because at 1:30, we're going to be talking about Keanu Reeves. What is the greatest Keanu Reeves movie? But on Wednesdays, what I do here is I give a movie review 40 years after the fact. I've done E.T., I've done Gremlins, I've done Indiana Jones, and some of you have enjoyed my reviews. Some of you have panned my reviews. But this week, I'm going to be doing Scarface. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, what to expect with that movie, because I've never seen it before. And we need to think about some movies that I need to do next week. So this is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM, and we're on the go at sasportstar.com.
The 2021 Bowl celebration is on. It's nonstop 4-quarter action all season long, from the Cotton and Orange Bowls all the way to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, presented by Ewok Kubota on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Houston Rockets fell to the Philadelphia 76ers last night, 133-113. Joel Embiid was too much for the Rockets to handle with 31 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists for a triple-double to hand Houston their 28th loss on the season. The Dallas Mavericks picked up a win against Denver, 103-89. Dallas had 6 players score in double figures and moved to the 6th seed in the Western Conference playoff race. And in basketball action tonight, the San Antonio Spurs hit the hardwood in Toronto with limited fans allowed at Scotiabank Arena. Tip-off is at 6. Also tipping at 6 in college basketball, the 14th-ranked Texas Longhorns continue Big 12 conference play in Manhattan, Kansas versus the Kansas State Wildcats. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug, it's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. If you're having to rework your office, let Hill Electric design your socially distanced space to ensure each workstation has the proper electrical needs. For over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. There is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074, or go to hill-electric.com.
I know you've been waiting a little bit longer than normal.
Jen's manicure spot needs an extra pair of hands.
Who's at the front desk right now?
Someone who's handy with everything from nail files to spreadsheet files.
Deidre's not coming in today, but we have that whole bachelorette party.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Lowe's home team came back for a second season focusing on making homes and hometowns better for all. With the help of their general manager, Drew Brees, and players like Najee Harris and Justin Fields, they tackled community projects in hometowns, while also inviting DIYers to join the Lowe's home team by taking on DIY projects of their own. Select pros rounded out the 2021 Lowe's home team. Learn more about the Lowe's home team at lowes.com/home team.
Tonight, it's the premiere of 2 new comedies on NBC.
First, the comedy critics are calling the next The Office.
American Auto, starring SNL's Anna Gasteyer.
What are you doing to my car?
I'm stealing your hubcaps. It's fine. I'm the new CEO.
Then it's Grand Cruise.
The comedy critics rave is this generation's Friends.
I'm going to ask Alicia to marry me.
What?
Seriously, dude? I've had almond milk in my fridge longer than you've been with Alicia.
American Auto and Grand Cruise.
Premiere tonight on NBC.
With the Peloton bike, there's always something new to try. We're adding new music to our artist series, new disciplines like boxing.
Fight your way through. Let's make it count.
So many new workouts to try on and off the bike.
Let's go, Peloton family.
There's always something new to keep you motivated. For a limited time, get a $550 value on the Peloton Bike Plus. $300 off plus free delivery and setup, a $250 value. All access membership separate. Limited time offer until January 9th, 2022. Free delivery only available in continental U.S. Terms apply.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Ribs, burgers, chicken. Submit what you cooked on the grill or smoker, and you can win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market. Grilling with the Blitz. Online at sasportstar.com.
Hi, it's Jason Minix from the Blitz. You're listening to San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The national championship is set as Alabama will face Georgia for the College Football Playoff National Championship. Kickoff is set for 7 Monday night right here on the San Antonio Sports Star. It all starts here at 6 after the Blitz with the pregame. Welcome back to halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm excited. Tonight I get to watch Scarface. Doing a movie review on that. I've never seen the movie before, but we do movie reviews on Wednesdays. And Pledge, I've been told that this movie is not any good. So is it okay?
Fun.
Is it okay if I come in with a bad review tomorrow?
It's fun. I mean, it is what it is for a movie. You also have to remember it was made in the 80s and it's Miami during a certain period of time.
Is it weird that last night I couldn't remember the name of the movie and I was just hitting my head and I didn't want to look it up. And I was like, that movie, Say Hello to My Little Friend, that movie. I had to Google that to get to the name Scarface.
It's a good movie.
It's more known for Say Hello to My Little Friend than as Scarface. People will know what you're referencing, but they might not know the name like you're getting at. I've never seen it.
Yeah. Well, I've been.
I have a long list.
I've been told that I like the hip hop version or the New Jack version of Scarface because I'm a really big fan of New Jack City, which was came out in the early '90s. It was with Ice-T, Mario Van Peebles was in that movie. Chris Rock was in there.
So they've made a second Scarface in the '90s?
No, it was like a set in New York version of Scarface. It wasn't Scarface or a sequel. It was like basically their version of it all. It was good.
Okay.
It was good. It was Chris Rock's first movie.
Oh, wow.
He played a crack addict named Pookie. It was good times. And this was one of Ice-T's first movies. And what's that guy from Breakfast Club who was in it? Judd Nelson. Judd Nelson was in that movie. So it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
What was that one called?
It was called New Jack City.
Okay.
Incredible soundtrack, by the way. Which featured Color Me Bad. Ice-T was in it. Christopher Williams. It was good times, man. So Scarface is what I'm reviewing. So reach out to us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. What should I review next week? Because people are saying that I should do American Me. Is that a movie? Because apparently I've lost part of my Mexican card by admitting that I've never seen that movie. But there's others out there that people want me to see. So let's make this happen. Movie review on Wednesday. Scarface tomorrow, baby, on the San Antonio Sports Star here at halftime. Hey, when we come back, Dallas Cowboys, big game against the Eagles coming up to end the regular season. The number one question we have here is, should the players be rested or should they go out to try to win this game? Is it even important for them to win this game? We're talking about the Cowboys, and at 1:30, we're going to have a breakdown of the career that is Keanu Reeves. What is his greatest movie? And also, we'll be hearing from Becky Hammond in the next hour. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star.
I can't wait to watch you guys play.
We're ready for y'all.
Let's go.
The NFL playoff picture is coming together.
Let's go. Let's go.
Are you ready?
You got to go out there every play and earn it.
Hear it unfold on San Antonio Sports Star.
I like it.
We're serving up all the biggest games you can handle.
Dominate on 3, 1, 2, 3, dominate.
Get all the action live on San Antonio Sports Star.
180. Wait, son.
ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Have you ever wondered why eyeglasses cost so much? The eyewear industry has been dominated by a single company that's kept prices artificially high.
Yikes.
Warby Parker was created to change that. They design and produce their own eyewear and then sell it directly to you for a fraction of the price. Warby Parker's high-quality glasses start at just $95, including your prescription. Try 5 pairs of frames for free. Go to warbyparker.com to pick your 5 frames to try on at home for free. That's warbyparker.com.
Yes, Miss Tubbs. No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
Custodial team is not
Someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
And we're back with Limu, Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb.
All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs.
Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
All used cars are not the same. At Give Me the VIN, we pay more for the clean ones. You got a nice one that's nicer than everybody else's? Go to GiveMeTheVin.com, load it up. I'll pay you more. If it's normal, we'll pay you the top of normal. If it's crappy, we'll pay you the top of crappy. But we do understand the difference at GiveMeTheVin.com, and we can price them both. But we're America's best car buyer because we bought $1 billion of cars in 2021. Only at
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pie customer.
Workers' comp can crush a small business. Every year it would jump 5, 10, 15, 20%, even though there was never any claims. And that's where I was struggling as a growing business.
That's Mike Lozier, owner of Gutter Plumber, a small business in New Jersey. A while back, Mike found his workers' comp costs rising. Luckily, he discovered Pie Insurance.
From start to finish, it was extremely easy. They quickly came back to me with a plan that was affordable for me.
Are you overpaying for workers' comp? Just go to trypie.com, share a few details about your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle or hidden fees. Like Mike, we think you'll be glad you did.
I'm very happy that I moved over to Pi for my workers' comp so that I can grow my company while not breaking the bank.
Find out how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent or get a quote at trypie.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Hi, Ghostbusting Ernie Hudson here. Thomas J. Henry asked me to say a few words about distracted driving. Next time you're driving, who are you going to text or call? Nobody, I hope. If you care about your life and the lives of others, you will not cross those streams. Using your phone while driving is extremely dangerous. Sadly, thousands of lives are needlessly lost every year. So if you don't want to become a Texas roadway statistic, please put your phone down. Don't talk, don't text, just drive. Thank you.
Live, local, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Michael Jimenez.
Halftime.
What's up? What's up? Hour number 2 of halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. My name's Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2. Carl Schoening is my co-host today. James Pledger producing the show. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Reach out, leave a comment. We'd be happy to read a couple of them out there. You know, we have a new family member to the San Antonio Sports Star. I officially have seniority over somebody.
Right.
Joe Reinagel has joined the San Antonio Sports Star. He did his premiere yesterday on the Blitz at 4:00, and you were showing me a video during the break. What's that video all about?
I just went out there yesterday, a little something to, commemorate the first day. I was the one who took a picture of them that they tweeted out. And I think as far as we were supposed to know, it was actually supposed to be a surprise right up until the intro song. But, Rob, he couldn't hold in the secret anymore. Rob was so excited about this whole thing behind the scenes that that it wasn't even planned on our rundown. Just 7:30 yesterday. He's like, "Hey, Joe Reinagle's going to be joining us," and it's like, well, hey, we can talk about it, I guess now. So, we're excited to have him in. Just one of the big names in the sports media industry here in San Antonio, joining us 4 to 7 every day with Jason Minix.
Yeah, it's funny. I've known Joe Reinagle for over 20 years. I mean, we're not like besties or anything like that. That's Pledge. Pledge is my bestie, right? But no, I've known Reinagle off and on because we've worked together in the past a couple of times. And, he's been around the studio and, we saw him around here the past few weeks, kind of just coming in and out, introducing himself to people and whatnot. And you knew something was potentially going down, but you're right. It was one of those things where we were thinking that the announcement would be made around 4:00 or so. But I'm actually glad that it was made during the morning because there was a buildup to it throughout the day of like, hey, he's going to be on at 4:00.
Appointment television or radio.
And it was great. He and Minix have instant chemistry. They've worked together in the past. And it was so much fun listening to those two go off and talk sports and just crack wise at each other, just make fun of each other the entire time. Joe Reinagle's a very, very nice man. He came by here a couple of weeks ago. He was in here and he came in and barged in on one of my shows and wanted to jaw at me about the Spurs. He was like, "Oh, the Spurs have won like 10 out of 15. They're not really tanking, Jimenez." And I'm like, let's just wait till the season ends.
I heard him call in one day and go at you about the tank because he's
Primo is a baby. Okay, he's a baby.
That's right. He did call in. You know what? These are all in movies, they call these Easter eggs, right? Where it's like foreshadowing the future. Is that what that is? So the fact that he was calling in and listening to the show was good times. And it's one of those things where I used to be in the media back in the day, behind the scenes of TV news here in town, over at Ken's, over at KSAT, KABB for a good while there. And it's just one of those things. They look at me now, they go, "Dude, is this like the same Jimenez from like the early 2000s? Yes, it's me. I have been resurrected as a media member again. Although I don't consider myself media. I may have a press pass from time to time, but I do not consider myself media. I am a fan who likes to talk sports."
You're media. You're media. If you're on radio, like even just twice a week, you're media. You can get away with submitting a media credential and not feel like you're lying. There were times in my life where I maybe kind of fringe saying, "Oh, hey, I'm with my company, SHN Sports." It's obviously just an LLC that I started, and it didn't hold much weight. And sometimes I got rejected for credentials. But, when you're with an ESPN San Antonio or what have you, you can apply for credentials, and they're on the wrong to not allow you most cases.
I will go for the food.
In COVID, that's actually been really pulled back a lot. As somebody who goes to a lot of press boxes for, sports media events, that has been one of the unfortunate things that has sort of been pushed away. But yes, usually the food was at least average at most sporting events for media.
So I'm a member of the media now.
Absolutely.
And no food.
I'm just a talking head who likes to watch sports and talk about it the next day, who likes to watch movies and talk about it the next day.
No, you mean 30 years later.
I never considered that to be media. You guys, I'm amazed. Good times.
You're shocked? That's
legitimately
what all of us do.
My girlfriend's mom was listening to Kelly and Seacrest, Ryan and Kelly or whatever the show's called. And I'm just kind of like, if you're just trying to get through your morning watching 3 hours of this and that's your thing, okay, I get it. I work on a 3-hour talk show as well, and that's your thing. But man, they just talk about nothing. She's not doing anything for me. That there's nothing that she said while it was on in the background that I found entertaining. But there are pockets of people that find that entertaining, and obviously they're one of the biggest shows. Is that Good Morning America?
Yeah,
or whatever it is. Like if I were given an offer to be on that show, I'm not going to say I don't find Kelly entertaining. I'm not going to take that offer. Of course, I'm going to join. Media is almost entertainment at this point. News and entertainment combined to make media, and sports are in the entertainment side of things. So yes, you are a media member.
It's funny because people reach out on Twitter like, who are you to be talking about this? You know who I am? I'm a fan. I'm a fan who likes to go to the games. I'm a fan who likes to watch it on TV, and it's no different. This show is all about bar talk without the alcohol. That's all that this is. It's the exact same conversations that I have with Pledger and other people that I meet at the Roo Pub or at Angry Elephant or at any Little Woodrow's. I don't care. I just like talking sports. So am I an expert at this? No, I just like to flap my lips and talk sports.
I think the sans alcohol thing needs to be tested. You got a styrofoam cup over there that you've been going towards the bottom of, I've noticed.
Unsweet tea, baby. 100% unsweet tea. A little bit of spice in it. That spice being sweet and low.
It's funny. I'm doing sober January, and you were telling me that you're just not that much of a drinker, but you're also opening the show with clubbing. So you're just a fun, free spirit.
No, I
That's
don't
what
say
it is.
No, Pledge knows this. I'm a bit of a drinker, but I haven't had liquor in over a month. I've had beer. I've had a couple of beers when we were out at the Twin Peaks 151 location. I had a couple of beers.
Here's the
thing. I haven't had liquor in about over a month.
Alcohol supposed to be better for you than beer in terms of
mine
calorie
says light
intake,
at the
caloric intake?
Mine says light at the end.
Oh, sure.
And the other thing is that when it comes to beer, I can only pound 3 and physically cannot do one other drop. Like there's some people who say, "Oh, I had a case of beer today." Dude, if I had a case of beer, I would be in the ER, not because I was drunk, but because physically I would not be able to stand it.
I think I had a case of beer a day while I was on vacation.
And you weigh what? $150?
I went like it was high school again. It was there was early mornings followed by late nights with a whole lot of ingestion in between.
No, those days are behind me.
And you're like 15 years younger than Pledger, man.
I can have fun with family gatherings and all of those kinds of things, but I can't get where I was when I was in college. When I was a Texas State Bobcat, I think I had some kind of saying like, "Oh, you're not an alcoholic if you're a college student. There's no such thing."
The three of us have that in common. Old Main at Texas State. We've been through that building over there. It's funny because
I think the thing we have in common is the square.
Yeah.
I've been to Old Main. I don't know about
y'all. I don't know about Old Main. It is more so,
Well, I mean, come on. I'm doing the academic building over there. But by the way, I love
Cafe on the Square.
I love
Nephews.
The thrift shops over there. I love the thrift shops over there near the square because they've got some really good sports gear down there.
Barfish.
Good time, man.
Good old San Marcos. And, it's crazy. I almost lived there for 10 years of my adult life. Going back there, even just after, 7-8 months that we've been doing this San Antonio Sports Star thing, it's still grown like crazy, and it's growing even more like crazy. All of a sudden, the gap between San Marcos and New Braunfels is about to be swallowed up.
It's not the same as when we were there, me and Pledge. It was a lot. It was a lot smaller.
The square's very, very.
The square's almost the same.
Similar.
The
square doesn't change.
But I'm talking about everything around it because
you
it used to
remember
be
those late night pizzas from Valentino's.
The late night drive at midnight when it would shut down at the square to go to 6th Street. And it would be like there'd be nothing
you either
there.
went north or south.
Yeah.
That's why they had to extend the bar times to close at 2 because so many people were like, it's 11:50. This place is about to close. Let's go down to San Antonio or Austin. And, you got all these people who have been drinking on the square too much.
Never once did I go south to San Antonio, dude. It was always going to Austin every single time. Hey, welcome back to Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star on ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Guess what? Cowboys end the regular season this Saturday against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think it's pretty much over after that Cardinals game. I don't think that this game's for anything. I know they flexed it to Saturday night, but man, the Eagles don't care about this game, do they?
Well,
do you think they do?
It's weird because the Eagles have already clinched a playoff berth. I guess technically they can go from 7 to 6.
Yes, it's no longer looking for the 49ers jumping them at 6 because they have the tiebreaker from week 2. And if the Cardinals had lost out from that Dallas game and then the Seahawks that they play, then maybe they would have been able to even jump the Cardinals. But now with the COVID outbreak, I just don't see the reason for the Eagles to care about this game on Saturday night.
Now, the Cowboys, it's one of those things where is it to care because you do not want to go into the playoffs with back-to-back losses. It's just a weird thing. But at the same time, it's more important to be healthy. I've been talking about this for the longest time. I have a lot of faith and stock in the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not a fan of the team, but I was more optimistic about this team than most. And right now, a lot of fans right now are a little bit kind of questioning things about, the offensive potency there. The defense didn't look that good against the Cardinals. But one of the weird things was I kept on saying, just be healthy, just be healthy. And we saw Michael Gallup go down for the year, was an ACL injury. He held on to that touchdown catch. So maybe, just maybe, it would be better if they rested their players and Mike McCarthy addressed this.
Yeah, definitely. Talked about it last night. Talked about it again this morning. We're gonna play. We're gonna play to win the game. So that's our approach. Obviously with everything in front of us, we understand the scenarios and so forth. But yeah, we're going to Philadelphia and we're gonna line up to do what we need to do to win the game.
Now I have a question. The Cowboys were in the 2 seed. The loss dropped them to 4.
Right.
The Rams have to play the 49ers, who are fighting for their playoff lives because if they lose, the Saints can overtake them.
Who dat?
The Buccaneers almost lost to the Jets last week and are now down yet another receiver as they move forward. Is it out of the realm of possibility that both of these teams might not both lose, which gives the Cowboys with the win a chance to go back to the number 2 seed?
And that's why I think the Cowboys should really go for the win in this game. I mean, if they were to stop and say, hey, we're going to rest, I wouldn't fault them for that. Wouldn't fault them at all. But if they say we're going to have to win this game because we want to jump up to a 2 or 3 spot, because if we jump up to the 2 or 3 spot, we avoid Lambeau in round 2, then I would say that that's a very important thing because I know it's going to have to go through Green Bay at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I would much rather, as a Cowboy supporter, if you were a Cowboy supporter, want to have that happen in the NFC Championship game rather than a divisional round.
Now, I want y'all to listen to Mike McCarthy one more time and notice that in his words, when asked about resting players, if there's an absence of something.
Yeah, definitely. Talked about it last night. Talked about it again this morning. We're gonna play. We're gonna play to win the game. So that's our approach. Obviously with everything in front of us, we understand the scenarios and so forth. But yeah, we're going to Philadelphia and we're gonna line up to do what we need to do to win the game.
Didn't say either way.
He didn't say that he wasn't resting players. He just said
we're going to try to win.
Playing to win.
And they're always going to say that. But by the way, did you all see the video of Jalen Hurts after the game against the Washington football team? How he almost got hurt?
Oh, because the fans broke the railing trying to give him high fives? That bit? Yeah, that's crazy.
Can you imagine if Jalen Hurts was hurt for the season because of that or had to miss time? Because, again, if you all didn't see it, there's video on ESPN. There's TikTok showing it as well. Jalen Hurts going through the tunnel after the game and beating Washington football team. And you have a bunch of Eagle fans there gathering around at the tunnel, wanting to take photos of him, wanting to get autographs or whatnot. Hurts gets pretty close. I think he gets within about 7 or 8 feet, and the railing just gives out. And you had about 6 or 7 fans just fall to the ground.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
It may have been more than that.
It looked like 20.
Yeah. And Hurts just kind of like sidestepped it, and they all landed at his feet.
Now, I want to get Carl's take on this because apparently the Eagles, because as a radio guy and an Eagles fan, so I want both hats.
Okay.
The Eagles radio crew skipped the trip to FedEx Field for Sunday's game against Washington because play-by-play announcer Merrill Reese regards it as, quote, a dump.
Wow. No, I was actually listening to Merrill Reese, and I had no idea that they weren't there, but he was having a subpar Merrill Reese broadcast. And, I think it has more to do with COVID because Merrill's like in his 70s. God bless the man, still doing what he loves. But yeah, I think that that's a funny thing to say about a rival. And I can't believe that he did that. I did not know that until now. And I was listening to him during the game.
Yeah, he says that he didn't go because that place is a dump. He skipped the trip.
And that railing that fell, it didn't seem like it was very secure, man. It just looked like scaffolding. It just looked like it could only hold maybe about 300 pounds of pressure, if that. And you get 20 fans out there. They all just tipped over. I'm surprised no one got hurt, man. I'm not only just hurt, like Jalen Hurts, but I'm surprised none of the fans did as well. But again, as you mentioned, Carl, the game got flexed. It is Saturday night at 7:15. Cowboys favored by 7. Let's get some headlines in.
Headline 2. Here's the 411 in the 210. Headline 2.
Let's get that in the right order. All right, first off, we'll start off in the 1 o'clock hour with Oklahoma quarterbacks transferring. First, we'll talk about Caleb Williams, who has entered the transfer portal, but says he will keep Oklahoma as an option. Then, hours later, ex-UCF quarterback Dylan Gabriel reverses course from his decision to commit to UCLA and will now transfer to Oklahoma instead. Transfers don't sign any paperwork that binds them to the schools they choose, though. And because Gabriel hadn't enrolled at UCLA, his change in his decision was okay. Because of that, he is now headed to Oklahoma. New Sooners head coach Brent Venable already saw Spencer Rattler transfer out, and he could be seeing Williams as well. With Gabriel being added to the Oklahoma roster, it also reunites him with new offensive coordinator Jeff Levy. Is Caleb gone?
I mean, this is so crazy what's going on in Oklahoma. They have absolutely no direction right now. After Lincoln Riley left and took 4- and 5-star recruits with him, and now Spencer Rattler leaves, and you have quarterbacks coming and going, and just having one foot in, one foot out. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on in Oklahoma. They don't know what's going on. They have no idea who's going to be under center come September of next year.
And they're going to go into the SEC as just Oklahoma, not top 5 Oklahoma. They're just heading in such a spiral downwards that maybe they're still going to be good, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to be the Oklahoma that the SEC wanted. And it might be hard for them to get back, like it's been hard for Texas to get back. You start a bidding war, though, with these quarterbacks.
In headline 1, Georgia Bulldogs quarterback Stetson Bennett said ahead of the national championship game on Monday that he's no savior.
Maybe I'm not capable of holding that kind of weight on my shoulders, but no, I'm just treating this as a football game. Do I know this means a lot to a lot of people? Yes. Am I trying to play some kind of savior by winning a national championship for millions of people? No, I don't think that's my job. My job is to go out there and throw completions to very talented people we have on this team. I think it's as simple as that.
All right. Do you agree with him, and should he have said it if so? Carl?
I don't really like getting too deep into what these young 20-something-year-olds say, saying he's a savior or something, because, these are the same people that love and relish in the fact that they're playing in front of 80 to 100,000 people every week. And they do feel almost worshipped to a certain level. But, there is something nice to hear that he's not living at that level and he's trying to downplay it a little bit.
I actually like what he said because he knows his role. There are some quarterbacks where I would not want to hear this from. Back in the day, I would not want to hear this from Trevor Lawrence. I would not want to hear this back in the day from a Baker Mayfield. But he is not that guy. He is a game manager. This team is all about the defense. When you talked about Georgia all year long, it was about, man, they're only giving up about 6 points a game, for like a 5, 6, 7 game stretch there. They are a defensive-oriented team. His job is to not throw interceptions. His job is to hand the ball off. He only threw for 2,600 yards, so it's not like he lights it up through the air. I think he's correct in this. He is not their savior. He is their manager.
Headline 0.
Now, I don't think that we gave this the fair talking points that we needed yesterday, so I decided to include it in headlines today as San Antonio Spurs assistant Becky Hammon is taking over for the Las Vegas Aces, getting her opportunity to run her own franchise as both head coach and general manager. And Becky talking about how difficult of the task this may be initially for her.
Well, it's going to be very busy. That's what it's going to look like. There's a lot of work ahead. For me, obviously, getting a staff in place is my first priority, and we have free agency coming up on the 15th. So, going to hit the ground running. Obviously, I still have to fulfill my duties here with the Spurs, which is very demanding and requires a lot of time. But I will be pulling double duty for a while here until April. So, I'm super excited, but getting a staff in place. And I think it goes back to what Nikki said, is just getting people that are like-minded. It's really important for me to get eyes next to me that see the game and who I trust their eyes and what they see and feel. Sorry. With on the basketball court. So I think the culture that they're starting to build, I'm just going to bring people in that I believe fits into that culture, and people that honestly have a good sense and have been in the WNBA and understand the league as a whole.
Now, guys, with those comments, it seems that Becky is not going to give all her attention to her new franchise and is pulling double duty with the Spurs as they move forward. Is that a good move for a first-time head coach / GM?
It's not, and it's also a bad look on the Spurs as well. When this was all announced that she was going to be doing double duty and she was going to be coaching with the Spurs through April, I asked the question, why? Why? Doesn't she have responsibilities? Oh, and she's going to be the GM over there? And their free agency begins in January? So she has to be doing double duty for 4 months? No, that's a really bad thing for Becky. I don't understand why the Spurs are making her stay, because I would believe that if it was up to her, she'd be gone.
It's definitely a conversation to be had between both, because it's a two-way road. Do the Spurs want somebody who's going to maybe be distracted by their new job? Right. So obviously both people are okay with the position they're in. And then at the end of the day, it's just basketball, because it's not like we're talking anything astronomically hard here. It's still a child's game that we're playing at a professional level. So Becky has probably paid enough attention to the WNBA. She's talked about it in that sound cut. She's getting people she trusts to help her with the day-to-day stuff. And, really, it's not, aside from the athleticism and the size of the players, the difference between what the NBA and the WNBA run on the basketball court when you're drawing up plays is not that much different. So you get to spend a little bit more time in an NBA environment. The one thing that does kind of put me off a little bit is the regular season for the Spurs is scheduled to end April 10th, and the WNBA regular season is scheduled to end May 6th. So if for whatever reason the Spurs are maybe buyers at the trade deadline and get into the second round, wouldn't those overlap roughly?
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a tight squeeze to, start off your head coaching job in Vegas if you're going to fulfill the season with the Spurs. I'm a little confused by that.
It is a tight squeeze, but beyond that, it's one thing if she was just going to be the coach. But if she's going to be the GM too, that makes it a whole different story.
And she is going to be GM? I did not hear that part. That's impressive. Good for her.
That's the 411 and a 210.
All right, Pudge? GM too? Hey, good for Becky. But, at the end of the day, there is already just a familiarity with, Rob Thompson thinks that he could be a GM just because he watches the NBA and he knows these guys. It's the same thing with Becky. She probably has never really missed a beat for what's going on in the WNBA. But if you're a general manager, you have people below you that do all of the legwork to get your statistics and information sent to you, and then you got to make the phone calls and deal with the negotiations, but more or less what you're going to do going into any conversation as a GM.
Now, a lot of Spurs fans and just fans in general of the NBA were hoping that Becky Hammon would be an NBA head coach, if not for the Spurs, some other place. And now she had been interviewed at other places, and what's interesting is that in this interview, she basically insinuated, in a way, or maybe we're reading between the lines,
her opening introductory
Yeah, her introductory interview as a new position as head coach and GM
press conference
for the Las Vegas Aces. She kind of insinuated, if we read between the lines, that there might have been a double standard in her interview process in the NBA.
To me, this is a step forward. Being the head coach of the Las Vegas Aces is a step forward and a step in the right direction for myself, for women's basketball. And I think I cannot emphasize the importance of this opportunity that I have, and that I think this is more advantageous for growth. And there's something to being a head coach. You know, I sat in a lot of head coaching interviews, and, you know, I don't think there's two things that people always said, you know, you've only been in San Antonio and you've never been a head coach. Well, I can tell you right now, Mark Davis met me, Nikki met me and said, that's a head coach right now. That's a head coach right now. We're going after her. She's the person. And so that's why they got me. And I couldn't be prouder to come back to the W. It's where I'm from. We're not even having this conversation if it wasn't for the WNBA. So I couldn't be happier to come back and give back and invest in these girls, not only as basketball players, but as young women and as leaders, not only in the community, but in the world. So I am stoked.
Okay, so first of all, we're happy for Becky Hammon.
Oh, absolutely.
But reading between the lines there, and Pledge was so great at pointing this out, talking about how she was given information in her interview process of, well, you've only been an assistant coach. You've never been a head coach. You've only been with one team. But we turn around and see some of these teams that interviewed her hire players like hire coaches like Chauncey Billups. We've seen Steve Nash out in Brooklyn, no experience coaching, but suddenly have the ability to become the head coach. And she's being told, well, you've never been a head coach and therefore we're going to overlook you. But then they hire somebody who had no head coaching experience, no assistant coaching experience. Do you think that there was a double standard involved? Because I believe that there was a double standard involved. And that's why I thought that San Antonio was the best opportunity for her to ever get a head coaching position if one was ever to become available.
It's hard getting an NBA head coaching job. Obviously, you know, I think Rudy J brought up Don Newman. There are guys like Don Newman who was with the Spurs for several years. He bounced around the league as somebody that was on a bench consistently, but I can't really ever remember Don Newman being in a conversation to get a head coaching job. You remember Ettore Messina was here for a little while. He was a legend over in Europe. You don't go into European basketball corners without somebody knowing who Ettore Messina is, and he could not get an NBA head coaching job. So, you know, whatever the reason is behind, you know, players like Chauncey Billups and I believe Derek Fisher also is one of those guys that without any previous experience, you brought up Steve Nash, getting the opportunity to be a head coach.
Tyronn Lue.
Yeah, Ty Lue. You know, there are examples like that. And Becky Hammon was one of the most fun players to watch that I ever saw in the WNBA. So, you know, is it one of those things where there is a double standard because she wasn't playing in the men's league? Yeah. She doesn't get the same respect as a player. And so, you know, I think that that's probably where you're, you know, catching that double standard. But I do want to reiterate, it is hard to get an NBA coaching job, and I'm happy for Becky to get a head coaching job here with the Aces. And I brought this up on R&R. The next expansion team could be the NBA in Las Vegas. Yep. Mark Davis will have a leg up on maybe hiring Becky Hammon to be the head coach there if she does well.
She's getting money. She's getting the clout, the position, the power. She owns that city now in some respects. It's good times, man. So I'm very, very proud of Becky. But when we come back, if I was to ask you, what is the greatest Keanu Reeves movie of all time? What do you do? What do you do? How do you answer this? We'll give you some poll results when we come back. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star. Pledge like that tease. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
You tall guys, man. I feel like y'all's job is always easier.
Oh, it's always easy.
Especially you a hooper, the girls go crazy because they're 6'4", 6'6". Like there's no work involved. Down here, we gotta work. We gotta have a conversation. Down here, you gotta have game.
Rob Thompson, Rudy J. Weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug, it's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our 11 locations and check out the new Kubota L2501 package deal, which includes a 4-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. Check out our package specials at ewaldkubota.com.
I need to be able to work from anywhere, so I need to have supplies, well, everywhere.
It's possible at Staples.
I need the same setup for my home as I have at the office, without twice the cost.
Also possible, because your local Staples store has the tools your business needs to get work done. Now get 40% back in a Staples store bonus when you buy any 2 ink or toner cartridges. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 1/15, limit 2 in-store only. See staplesconnect.com/store bonus for details.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmitt's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Start now with a free consultation at QC Kinetics. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Call today, 571-0318.
Find your next amazing getaway at the South Texas RV Super Sale. Hundreds of RVs, every shape and size. Small pop-up campers to spacious motorhomes, toy haulers, travel trailers, fifth wheels, and more from South Texas' best dealers. RVing will change your life. Fall in love with the unexpected joy of the No Limits RV lifestyle. Check out a free seminar. Never stop looking for your next big adventure. Discover RVing at the South Texas RV Super Sale, Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall, January 6th through the 9th. Doors open at 10 a.m.
Take a break from the hustle. This is Halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Monster Jam comes to the Alamo Dome on January 15th and 16th. You can win your tickets all week here on the San Antonio Sports Star. Tickets information available at monsterjam.com. Welcome back to Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. I get really excited when Pledger likes a tease because every once in a while, you know, we talk about what the next topic is going to be. And sometimes you ad-lib something, but Pledger really liked my Dennis Hopper / Keanu Reeves impersonation from Speed. Pop quiz. What do you do? What do you do? I bring up Keanu Reeves for many reasons because, you know, I saw an interview of him the other day where he was talking about how there's sequels coming out these days. He has the new Matrix sequel, which is on HBO Max, and that's very popular. And he's done sequels to other sequels as well. And they asked the question of him the other day, what sequel have you not done that you wish you did? And he mentioned the movie Constantine, which is kind of a creepy movie from about 15 years ago.
Really good movie, though.
I think I saw that. I kind of remember that. It was a little sci-fi horror, kind of science fiction horror.
Yeah, so he was talking about that movie, and I was thinking about it. I was like, Keanu Reeves, I mean, he has a persona of like being like one of the nicest guys in Hollywood and the kind of guy that you'd want to hang out and have a beer with or have a dinner with or whatever the case may be. And a lot of women love him, right? So I was thinking about it. Is he a great actor or not? And I go on his breakdown. There's certain actors out there, like Woody Harrelson's another one that we need to bring up at some point, where you take a look at everything that they've done. And I'm like, man, he has a huge catalog of movies, like some very, very popular and successful ones. So I put on Twitter a poll, basically putting together what I thought was his Mount Rushmore. And I basically asked the question, what is the greatest Keanu Reeves movie? And I put 4 movies out there. I put down The Matrix, Speed, Point Break, and John Wick. And we had 123 people respond. But beyond that, we had more than a dozen people reach out and say, no. It's a different movie. And it's weird because you thought
Bill and Ted.
Explain yourself.
Well, first off, that's probably my introduction to Keanu Reeves. Bill and Ted, it was a fun time travel adventure. It's something that I understood as a kid because the movie was out while I was growing up. But something like Speed, as much as I kind of get understood the concept, I don't think I found it as entertaining as a child. It wasn't amusing. So yeah, Bill and Ted is kind of almost a cult favorite, and he even did a sequel to that in 2020 called Bill and Ted Face the Music. It was not as good, but it's one of those things where I grew up with it, so it sort of always stays one of my favorites. I need to check out and rewatch some of these other ones.
Now, Bill and Ted's is a movie that I saw with my daughter, my teenage daughter. She loved it growing up. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man, Keanu Reeves has been a part of my life for so long. I didn't watch a lot of movies growing up, but Bill and Ted's was one of them. Speed. I mean, we can make the argument that that's more of a Sandra Bullock feature. I mean, Keanu Reeves is the lead in there.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that you end up coming out of that movie going, who's that Sandra Bullock? Who's that Wildcat there? But she was wearing a Wildcat jersey, okay, t-shirt, Arizona Wildcats t-shirt. Sweatshirt, yeah, in that movie. So Dennis Hopper refers to her as the Wildcat on there. So there you go. But
when I find you, pop quiz, hot shot. There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up. What do you do? What do you do?
I'd want to know what bus it was.
Shoot the hostage. It had those.
Yeah, but I'm taller.
Okay, so the greatest movie, everyone says a lot of people are saying John Wick. By the way, the Twitter results, as I mentioned, 123 votes, John Wick at 37%. The Matrix at 25, Point Break at 20, and Speed at 18. A lot of people saying The Replacements, Constantine. Others are saying The Devil's Advocate.
Oh, yeah.
Bill and Ted's. I mean, he has 2 Mount Rushmores, essentially. Maybe there's a drama one and there's a comedy one or an action one. I don't know how as good as John Wick is, The Matrix changed everything. When it came out in 99, it was the movie of the year. I mean, so many movies copied it. It had the sequels. I mean, I know Wick did as well, but it's one of those things where I go back and it's The Matrix, man. It has to be The Matrix.
I agree with you, and I enjoyed John Wick. And I think that you stick with John Wick or The Matrix as the top 2. I played a video game called Cyberpunk where he actually was the lead support, I guess, main support character in the video game, and he was very good in that too. It's not a movie, but he's just a very likable character. Keanu Reeves, he gets his own segment here on Halftime because he is that good. And like you said, it's funny to point out he's been a part of your movie going life at this point.
And he's not the greatest actor of all time. I mean, let's just call it what it is. The last movie I saw of him was a movie called Knock Knock with Ana de Armas, and Ana de Armas is now the new Bond girl. And it was not the greatest of movies. You know what's so funny? I go back in time. This is how old I am. Sometimes if you were to say, give me your favorite Keanu Reeves memories, one of them was he was in the Paula Abdul music video Rush Rush, which was kind of like a 1950s themed. It was a fine video. It was good times. But The Matrix, I think, is his like top movie. But my favorite movie to watch of Keanu Reeves will always be Point Break.
And I need to see that. I don't think I've even heard of it until today.
Oh my God!
That's such a good movie.
It's such a good movie.
Him and Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. So basically, and this is great because this was before the internet, because he plays a former college football player, a star quarterback, who is basically working undercover in trying to break up a crime ring that involves a bunch of surfers. Okay. The great thing about it is that if the internet existed, you'd be like, dude, didn't you play for Ohio State? Like, his cover would have been blown, but this was before the internet. So therefore you could be anonymous and still be a star quarterback back in the day. What a great movie. The action scenes. I think Catherine Bigelow was the director of Point Break. And Catherine Bigelow, I believe, let me see, Catherine Bigelow, Point Break. And she also won an Oscar back in the day for, like, I don't know, Zero Dark 30 or one of those types of movies. But yeah, she was the director of Point Break. Was her first movie.
You bring up a funny point, though, how social media has changed celebrity and athletics, because wasn't it John Stockton in the middle of the Olympics went out to Barcelona and nobody recognized him? Doesn't happen to Steve Nash, a decade or two later.
Exactly. That is funny, man. That is funny. But man, what a great movie Point Break was. I mean, Patrick Swayze was amazing in that movie. You have the line of Utah, give it 2. That line, which is classic. Who was that? Was that not Nick Nolte? Who was that? Why do I think Nick Nolte, but it's not him?
It was Nick Nolte.
Was it Nick Nolte?
Yeah, that was his partner.
Oh my God. I'm getting old for knowing that. But Point Break, that is your homework, Carl. Since you're going to be here, on Tuesdays or Wednesdays?
Find out where it's streaming.
Oh, it is somewhere streaming, but that's great. But man, thank you to everybody who reached out to us on this topic, because, here's the thing. There are certain actors out there that you take a look at all that they do and you realize that, man, they are huge, but we don't consider them to be massive stars. They're A-listers, but they're not the top. Jeremy Renner is somebody right now where if you look at everything that he does, it's brilliant. Woody Harrelson is another one that's like that. And it's so funny because these are my favorite type of actors out there, not so much the Leonardo DiCaprios or the Brad Pitts of the world or the George Clooney's. I like the second tier. I like the Jonah Hills of the world. These are the guys that, Jesse Eisenberg is another one as well. These are guys where if they're in it, chances are I'm going to like it.
Do we consider McConaughey second tier, or has he worked his way up to top tier?
Nah, man, McConaughey is a rom-com king, dude. If he's in it, or Kate Hudson, I expect there to be some sort of love triangle thing going on at the end of the movie.
I don't know. Some of his more serious stuff, because he was the rom-com king, back
Dallas
when
Buyers Club
rom-coms
was
were
really
king.
good.
Yeah, and Mud was pretty good.
Haven't seen that one.
He has a lot of good ones. And then on the Woody Harrelson side, Zombieland. Have you ever seen Zombieland?
Zombieland's great.
I love
That's a
Zombieland.
good movie. But, Woody Harrelson's character was great in the Hunger Games
As
movies.
we talk about Devil's Advocate, Matthew McConaughey was in a similar type movie, if you remember. And he also was in one with Al Pacino called Two for the Money, which was really good.
Yeah, and I know McConaughey has changed things up a bit because he was the rom-com guy, and he changed it up.
Don't forget
Dazed and Confused back in the day. Yeah, that's what I like about high school girls. I get older and they stay the same age. What a creepy line. Gary Busey. I knew it wasn't Nick Nolte. It was just another guy that was just as creepy. It wasn't Christopher Walken or anything like that, but somewhat along that line.
They look exactly the same for the most part.
By the way, going to Spider-Man No Way Home, dude, Willem Dafoe is the ugliest man in all of Hollywood. That is a creepy dude.
What character do you play in Spider-Man? William Dafoe?
He was Norman Osborn, the Green
Goblin. Oh, is that who? Okay, yeah, you have to go with characters on the movie. I don't know their names in real life.
Hey, let's put a bow on the show when we come back. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star.
Are you ready.
You know what time it is?
The NFL playoff picture is coming together.
Let's go have a day, huh?
Hear it unfold on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Houston Rockets fell to the Philadelphia 76ers last night, 133-113. Joel Embiid was too much for the Rockets to handle with 31 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists for a triple-double to hand Houston their 28th loss on the season. The Dallas Mavericks picked up a win against Denver, 103-89. Dallas had 6 players score in double figures and moved to the 6th seed in the Western Conference playoff race. And in basketball action tonight, the San Antonio Spurs hit the hardwood in Toronto with limited fans allowed at Scotiabank Arena. Tip-off is at 6. Also tipping at 6 in college basketball, the 14th-ranked Texas Longhorns continue Big 12 conference play in Manhattan, Kansas versus the Kansas State Wildcats. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
America's best high school football players are coming to Texas. It's the All-American Bowl on Saturday, January 8th at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Trevor Lawrence, Ezekiel Elliott, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the best of the best at the All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game presented by H-E-B. 2 exciting games for $10 in the lower bowl. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.
Tonight, it's the premiere of 2 new comedies on NBC.
First, the comedy critics are calling the next The Office.
American Auto, starring SNL's Anna Gasteyer.
What are you doing to my car?
I'm stealing your hubcaps.
It's fine. I'm the new CEO.
Then it's Grand Cruise.
The comedy critics rate is this generation's Friends.
I'm going to ask Alicia to marry me.
What? Seriously, dude? I've had almond milk in my fridge longer than you've been with Alicia.
American Auto and Grand Cruise.
Premiere tonight on NBC.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Peloton is bringing so much new for the new year. With the Peloton Bike, you get access to new classes and new artist series. Punch up your power with Peloton Boxing. Work out to your favorite music with 100-plus artist series classes. For a limited time, experience it all with a $550 value offer on the Peloton Bike Plus, including $300 off the Bike Plus and free setup and delivery. A $250 value. Terms apply. Learn more at onepeloton.com.
Tonight, it's the premiere of 2 new comedies on NBC.
First, the comedy critics are calling the next The Office.
American Auto, starring SNL's Anna Gasteyer.
What are you doing to my car?
I'm stealing your hubcaps. It's fine. I'm the new CEO.
Then it's Grand Cruise.
The comedy critics rate is this generation's Friends.
I'm going to ask Alicia to marry me.
What? Seriously, dude? I've had almond milk in my fridge longer than you've been with Alicia.
American Auto and Grand Cruise.
Premiere tonight on NBC.
With the Peloton Bike, there's always something new to try. We're adding new music to our artist series, new disciplines like boxing.
Fight your way through. Let's make it count.
So many new workouts to try on and off the bike.
Let's go, Peloton family.
There's always something new to keep you motivated. For a limited time, get a $550 value on the Peloton Bike Plus. $300 off plus free delivery and setup, a $250 value. All access membership separate. Limited time offer until January 9, 2022. Free delivery only available in continental U.S. Terms apply.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490. Do you love your garage? Can you get your cars and the kids' bikes in? Jason Minnick's here for Garageization, your garage storage solution. With a variety of shelving, overhead racks, slat walls, and closed cabinet options, Garageization can make your garage functional for the entire family. Call 210-664-4494 and have them give you a free customized plan for your family's needs. For over a decade, Garageization has helped people love their garage. Learn more online at GarageOrganizationSanAntonio.com.
I've bought $1 billion worth of used cars in 2021 at GiveMeTheVin.com. What that tells you real quick is I pay too much. Because if I didn't pay too much, I wouldn't get that many bought. And everybody loves us. Check out our reviews online. We've bought $1 billion this year already. We're the best, period. End of story. GiveMeTheVin.com. America's best used car buyer. Sell us your car.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Cowboys, Eagles. It's a do-or-die primetime showdown. Catch the pregame Saturday at 6. Kickoff at 7:15. Presented by Ewald Kubota. San Antonio Sports Star Pro Football Pick'em. Online at sasportstar.com. Can you pick the perfect matchups all season long? If so, you could win 50 grand. Weekly winners score gift cards to Pinkerton's Barbecue and the Mellow Mushroom. For official contest rules and to play, visit